When the thrill is gone. You maybe see that? When the thrill is gone. Back in my mother's younger days, there was a blues artist by the name of B.B. King. He was a gifted musician and singer / songwriter, and he would take that guitar of his with his melodious voice and bring a song to life.
Yeah, man.
Well, B.B. used to sing this song that was called "The Thrill Is Gone." The thrill is gone away. And the message of that song was that after all the heartaches and pains that came along with the relationship that he was in, the thrill of being together was now gone. All the drama in the relationship had somehow put the fire out. And the thrill was gone. The excitement of being together is now a vague memory. Can you feel what I'm saying? The excitement to being together is now a vague memory. And the companionship has collapsed. The love is lost. The light has gone out. And therefore the thrill is gone. Now, although I'm sure many of us in here can relate with that message, mainly because we've all been there at some point in our lives when the thrill was gone. Can I get over this? Like I said, we've all been there in our lives. You see, when the thrill is gone, that means the fire is burning out. When the thrill is gone, that means that I am no longer excited by that which used to move me. When the thrill is gone, that means that the touch that used to make me tingle has now become the touch that I can't seem to tolerate. There was a time when I couldn't take my eyes off of you. But now that the thrill is gone, I can't even stand to look at you. Have you ever been there before? If you've been there, somebody say, I've been there, Pastor. But how many of us in here has felt that same way in our relationship with Jesus? Oh, don't get quiet on me now. How many of us in here has felt that way in our relationship with Jesus? Yeah, I know you were excited when you first got with him. I know you used to walk with him and talk with him all day long, and how you used to go around bragging about him to everyone, and how you would try to introduce him to all of your friends. That's how it was in the beginning. But now, after a few days, a few trials and tribulations, your feelings has changed, and the thrill that you once had running with Jesus is now gone. Yeah, I go to church. I go to church like always, but the fire seems to have gone out. I even belong to a ministry in the church, but instead of working to meet the needs of others, I'm working to keep people off my nerves. Yeah, I may be singing in the choir, but I'm not really feeling the words that I'm singing about. It was all exciting when I started out, but now the thrill is all gone. Now, even though some of us will never, ever, and I mean never, admit that from our lips, our actions will speak for us. And they will speak loud and clear. You might come to church, but you don't come with a mind to worship like you used to. There was a time when you would talk to God, but now you don't converse with him like you used to. In the beginning, you didn't mind giving your time, your talent, and your treasure, but now you don't have the time, the mind, or the dime to support the kingdom like you used to. Yeah, you may honor him with your lips, but your hearts are far from him. When the thrill is gone. And as crazy as that may sound, this was almost the case with the church of Ephesus here in our text. And notice that I said almost. And the reason why I said almost is because although their relationship with Christ was in trouble and on the verge of collapse, there was still something in there keeping them alive.
All right.
There was still something there. All had not yet been lost between them. Now, usually when a couple is in trouble, the blame comes from both sides of the table. Don't get quiet on me. Usually when a couple is in trouble, the blame comes from both sides of the table. The fault usually doesn't fall to one party. Usually. But in this case, the problems were coming from one side of the table. In this case, the problem was not coming from the husband, but as usual. Do I need to change that real quick? Jeffrey said, but as usual, the issues were brought out or brought home by the wife. You see, this time it was not the husband who had changed, but it was the bride that had changed. Jesus being the husband in the relationship and the church is his bride. But Jesus didn't start out in this relationship pretending to be somebody when he was really somebody else. He wasn't one who talked a good game in the beginning, but then once he got what he wanted, turned around and flipped the script on you like some people do. But he was a rare case of what you see is what you get. Do you hear what I'm saying? What you see is what you get, and that is because he is immutable. That means he changes not. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So the problems on the table did not come from the husband's side. Just as it is in my house. It came from the bride's side. Instead of, look, they ain't got quiet. The women look like I'm crazy. Let me change that. No, I'm gonna stand on what I'm saying. The problem did not come from the husband's side of the table. But just like in my house, it came from the wife's side of the table. That's all right. We love you, Sister McGhee. It's your problem calls itself. We love you. The Church of Ephesus was charged and guilty of losing their first love. And that was their love for Christ. When they started out, they were on fire for the Lord. But somewhere down the line, something changed. And they lost sight of the reason and the purpose of being in the relationship with Christ in the first place. And so here in our text, we find Jesus speaking through the Apostle John, sending a message to the 7 churches of Asia. But this particular church, Ephesus, he sent this message addressing the situation and giving the church the guidance on how to resolve the problem before the problem was the resolve of them. Before the problem became their demise.